What if I told you? Most people don't lose money because they're unlucky. They lose money because they're walking straight into traps they don't even see. Think about that. You work hard. You earn money. You tried to save. Maybe you even invest a little. On the surface, it feels like you're doing everything right. But somehow, your bank account never really grows. You're stuck in the same cycle, month after month, year after year. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. The biggest financial mistakes are not obvious. They don't look dangerous. They don't feel like mistakes in the moment. In fact, they often feel smart, safe, and even responsible. Buying a slightly bigger house because you deserve it. Upgrading your phone every year because it's just a small EMI. Keeping your money in a savings account because at least it's safe. Avoiding investing because it's too risky. None of these decisions feel wrong when you make them, but over time, they quietly drain your wealth. And here's the scary part. These traps are designed to look normal. Society encourages them. Advertisements normalize them. Even your friends and family might be stuck in the same cycle, reinforcing the same habits. So you don't question it. You just follow along. And before you realize it, years have passed. And you're still financially stuck. Meanwhile, a small group of people seem to move ahead effortlessly. They grow their wealth. They build assets. They gain financial freedom. And it feels like they're playing a completely different game. But they're not smarter. They just avoid the traps. That's it. In this video, we're going to break down the biggest money traps that keep people poor without them realizing it. These are the silent killers of wealth, the habits and decisions that look harmless, but cost you years of financial growth. And once you see them, you won't be able to unsee them, because the goal isn't just to make money. The real goal is to stop losing it in ways you never noticed before. Problem approximately equals 500 words. The biggest reason people fall into money traps is simple. They don't even realize they are traps. Most people think financial failure comes from big, dramatic mistakes. Things like losing money in the stock market, starting a failed business, or getting scammed. But in reality, that's not what keeps people stuck. The real problem is much more subtle. It's the everyday decisions that feel completely normal. You see, most people are taught how to earn money, but almost nobody is taught how money actually works. Schools don't teach it. Families rarely explain it, and society focuses more on spending than understanding. So people build their financial life on assumptions. For example, many believe that earning more money will automatically solve their financial problems. But if that were true, high-income earners would never struggle. Yet you see doctors, engineers, and corporate executives living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because higher income doesn't fix bad financial habits. It often makes them worse. Another common misunderstanding is the idea of safe versus risky. People think keeping money in a savings account is safe and investing is risky. But what they don't see is inflation quietly reducing the value of their money every year. So while they feel safe, they are actually losing purchasing power. Then there's the belief that small expenses don't matter. It's just a coffee. It's just a subscription. It's just a small EMI. Individually, they seem harmless, but combined, over years, they create a massive financial leak that most people never calculate. And perhaps the biggest trap of all is lifestyle inflation. As income increases, expenses increase even faster. A better salary leads to a bigger house, a nicer car, more expensive habits. So even though people earn more, they don't build wealth. They just upgrade their lifestyle. The truth is, these traps are powerful because they feel justified. They come with logical explanations. They blend into everyday life so perfectly that you don't question them. And by the time you realize something is wrong, years have already passed. That's the real problem. People are not losing money in obvious ways. They are slowly draining their wealth through decisions that feel completely normal. To really understand money traps, you need to see one simple idea. Not all spending is equal. Some expenses make you richer over time, others quietly make you poorer. The problem is, most people don't know the difference. Let's break down the biggest money traps one by one. The first trap is lifestyle inflation. This is what happens when your income goes up, and your expenses rise just as fast or even faster. You get a salary increase, and suddenly you move to a better apartment, upgrade your phone, start eating out more, and spend more on things you didn't even care about before. It feels like progress. But in reality, your financial position hasn't improved at all. You're still dependent on your next paycheck. The only thing that changed is your lifestyle, not your wealth. The second trap is the illusion of affordability. This is where EMIs and monthly payments trick your brain. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" people ask, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" That small shift changes everything. A phone doesn't cost 80,000 anymore. It becomes only 3,000 per month. A car isn't 20 lakh. It becomes just 25,000 per month. And suddenly, everything feels affordable. But what's really happening is you're committing your future income. You're locking yourself into payments that reduce your ability to invest, save, or take opportunities later. The third trap is saving without investing. Many people feel responsible because they save money regularly. They keep it in a bank account or a fixed deposit and think they are being financially smart. But here's the problem. Inflation is constantly reducing the value of that money. If your money grows at 3% but inflation is 6%, you're actually losing value every year. It's a silent loss. You don't see it, but over time, it becomes massive. The fourth trap is bad debt disguised as good life choices. Not all debt is bad, but most consumer debt is. Buying things that don't generate income, using borrowed money, puts you in a weaker financial position. Whether it's gadgets, luxury items, or even things bought just to impress others, they don't help you grow wealth. They just increase pressure. The fifth trap is trying to look rich instead of becoming rich. This is one of the most dangerous ones. People spend money to signal success. Branded clothes, expensive cars, luxury experiences. It creates the image of wealth, but behind the scenes, there's often stress, EMIs, and zero real assets. Real wealth is quiet. It's investments, assets, and cash flow that most people don't see. The sixth trap is not understanding opportunity cost. Every time you spend money, you're not just losing that amount. You're losing what that money could have become if invested. For example, spending 50,000 today is not just 50,000 gone. It could have been much more in the future if invested properly. But most people never think that way. They only see the present cost, not the future loss. And finally, the biggest trap of all is doing what everyone else is doing. If everyone around you is upgrading their lifestyle, taking loans, and spending freely, it feels normal to do the same. But normal doesn't build wealth. Normal keeps you stuck. When you step back and look at these traps together, you realize something powerful. None of them are extreme. They are all small, common, everyday decisions. And that's exactly why they're so dangerous. Because you don't notice them while they're happening. But over time, they quietly shape your entire financial life. Let's take a real-world style example that perfectly shows how money traps work. In everyday life, consider the story of a young professional, someone working a stable corporate job, earning a decent salary, doing everything that society considers right. Now imagine two people starting at the same point. Same age, same salary, same opportunities, but over the next 10 years, their financial lives go in completely different directions. Let's call them Reef and Rahim. Reef follows the normal path. As soon as he gets his first salary, he upgrades his lifestyle. He buys a new phone on EMI, starts eating out more often, subscribes to multiple services. When he gets a salary increase, he moves into a better apartment. A few years later, he buys a car. Again, on EMI, from the outside, it looks like he's doing well. His lifestyle keeps improving. His social media reflects success. People assume he's financially strong. But behind the scenes, most of his income is already committed. EMIs, rent, lifestyle expenses. At the end of every month, there's very little left to invest. Now let's look at Rahim. Rahim earns the same amount, but he makes slightly different decisions. When his income increases, he doesn't immediately upgrade his lifestyle. Instead, he keeps his expenses relatively stable and starts investing the extra money. He avoids unnecessary EMIs. He buys things only when he can afford them without locking his future income. He focuses on building assets rather than appearances. In the beginning, his life looks almost the same as Arif's, maybe even a bit more modest. But over time, something powerful starts to happen. His investments begin to grow, slowly at first, then faster. After a few years, Rahim has built a portfolio of assets, investments that generate returns, money that starts working for him. Meanwhile, Reef is still working for money. Now fast forward 10 years, Reef is earning more than ever, but he's still financially stressed. His lifestyle expanded with his income. and he's dependent on his job to sustain it. Rahim, on the other hand, has options. His investments have grown significantly. He has financial flexibility. He can take risks, explore opportunities, or even take a break if he wants. Same starting point, completely different outcome. And here's the key insight. The difference wasn't income. The difference was avoiding money traps. Reef didn't make one big mistake. He made many small, normal decisions that slowly limited his financial growth. Rahim didn't do anything extraordinary. He just avoided those traps and stayed consistent. That's how wealth is really built, not through dramatic moves, but through small decisions repeated over time. If there's one thing you should take away from this video, it's this. Wealth is not just about how much you earn. It's about how many traps you avoid. Most people spend their lives trying to increase income, thinking that's the solution. And yes, earning more does help, but income alone doesn't build wealth, because if your habits stay the same, your lifestyle will simply rise to match your income, and you'll stay stuck. The real shift happens when you start seeing money differently. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" you start asking, "What is this costing me in the long run?" Instead of focusing on looking successful, you focus on becoming financially strong. Instead of following what everyone else is doing, you become intentional with your decisions. You understand that every financial choice has a hidden impact. Every EMI reduces your future freedom. Every unnecessary expense delays your financial growth. Every decision to not invest costs you future wealth. And on the flip side, every smart investment builds momentum. Every controlled expense increases your capacity to grow. Every avoided trap gives you more freedom later. The goal is not to stop enjoying life. The goal is to make sure your present lifestyle is not stealing from your future, because the biggest difference between people who struggle financially and people who build wealth is not intelligence. It's awareness. Once you see these traps, you start making better decisions automatically. You stop playing the short-term game, and you start building something that actually lasts. If you want to understand how money actually works, not just how to earn it, but how to grow it and protect it, then make sure you subscribe to the Geeky Investor. Because here, we don't just talk about money. We break down the systems, the habits, and the strategies that separate people who stay stuck from those who build real wealth. And once you understand the game, you'll never look at money the same way again.